Hello, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John, and we'll be doing some recent movies this week, starting with this one, which I said in the previous video, beat Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 in the box office, which is, you know what, I would say,
Well deserved.
well deserved. Uh, and you've seen the title and the thumbnail, so yeah, we're doing Cocaine Bear. Interesting title, interesting premise, directed by Elizabeth Banks, starring Alden Ehrenreich, Kerry Russell, and the late great Ray Liotta.
Yes, sir. And also, inspired by a true story. And I was like, what?
Oh yeah,
No, because like, I remember you pitching this idea to me. And I'm like, oh, we're gonna do Cocaine Bear. I was like, what the fuck is a Cocaine Bear? He was like, well, it's a real story of like back in the 80s where, when cocaine was pretty big and they would drop it off in like a forest nearby and the drug dealers would just scrounge around and find it.
yeah.
And it's a story about a bear getting one of those things and pretty much wreaking havoc. Does make me kind of... This movie did a really good job traumatizing. Not of cocaine, but of bears.
Yeah, thankfully we live in the Philippines, not North America, so we're good on that front. Like, there's not much wildlife here.
Now if you think about it. What if cocaine dog?
I feel like a dog's more manageable than a bear. A dog is not 1,000 pounds of muscle.
Have you seen a pit bull?
I guess, fine. Depending on what kind of
Like,
dog.
like that thing does P90X in its sleep. Where...
But yeah, I do like the way the story's told, where there's just multiple groups of people trying to get what they want to get to fast, or like not in a hurry. But like mostly, you know, like, oh, it's about drugs, so you know, like crime is involved. Like, you see the opening just killed me of like the guy just dropping cocaine and then he slams his head on the plane roof.
Well, again, it's like us going back in time and moving a rock, and this is the Tom Cruise movie.
Oh
And this is the
god.
outcome of it.
Oh god. You're like, well, this sets the tone. And then we follow
Mhm.
two.
Oh god. No. Yeah, once we got to that part.
I mean, well, we kind of begin with Tormund and his girlfriend, and like they're like, "Oh, look, it's a bear. Let's keep watching it." You're like, why would you stay in the same vicinity as a bear?
I mean, you would think to yourself, like, oh, they were actually in good distance.
Yeah,
It's a horror movie, okay? So the bear, like, just saw them from a mile away. And they're just taking photos of it, and you're like, oh, fuck. Little did they know this thing was fucking high on drugs. Because this bear got into one of the bags that they dropped over the fucking... What was it called again? Blood Mountain?
Blood Mountain, somewhere in Wyoming, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. And this poor Norwegian couple, I seriously felt so bad because, like, yeah, we got the tone with like the guy dropping the bags and hitting his head on the thing, but then we get this beautiful couple who's like planning their fucking their wedding, and then she becomes all sweet and shit, and like kisses him and was like, oh, it's a beautiful view, and then she gets torn apart in the next scene. I was like, I kind of wish for their happy ending.
You're like, well,
Like, I wish it didn't happen to them.
right? And then we follow.
If he just like mustered his like Game of Thrones character, I feel like that bear would have been killed, like dead from the beginning.
Right. And then we follow two kids. I forget the kids' names, but like they're going off to the waterfall, and Carrie Russell's the kid's mom. I'm like, oh shit, I haven't seen you since The Rise of Skywalker. And like, speaking of Star Wars, she's supposed would be. She's his ex. Like, oh,
Oh, Daft Punk.
yeah. Speaking of Star Wars, you also see. I had no idea Alden Ehrenreich was in this. I was like, oh my god, haven't seen you since Solo.
Oh yeah, when I saw him, I was like, is that so?
Right?
And he did an amazing job. I love his character here so fucking much.
So his name is Eddie, and Osea Jackson Jr. is David. Getting orders by Sid, who's played by the late great Ray Liotta. And you're like, you know what? Kind of wish you were in a more better crime movie.
Uh, I say this is a good way to like go out with a bang with a movie that didn't take itself seriously and yet did great in the box office. And I fairly enjoyed Cocaine Bear. You
All
know?
right. But yeah, he tells David of like, can you please get the cocaine? Can you bring Eddie with you? Even though he's mourning the death of his lover, he's in grief forever. Just please bring him. At the same time, you get the ranger trying to keep the park safe. At the same time, trying to flirt with this other guy, this environmentalist. And you're like, oh, okay.
Either played by Jesse Taylor Ferguson, the guy from I don't know if you watch Modern Family, but yeah,
Guy.
he is the dad,
Oh.
the gay couple. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
I just know the sheriff from fuck, BoJack Horseman, because she's a reoccurring character there. As herself, like one of those, like it's a Family Guy thing of like, oh, it's Tom Hanks as Tom Hanks. Like here's
Okay.
Martindale as Margot Martindale. Like, oh, it's a running joke. Cool.
Gotcha.
And like obviously Carrie Russell's worried because she can't find her kids and she knows they're going off to the waterfall. And the kids like find a pack of cocaine. They're like, hey, have you done cocaine? He's like, yeah, I have. Take a spoonful and just ingest it. You're like, please don't make kids die in front of me, please.
And then they just spit it out. You know, that's,
Ah,
I was like, okay, at least they don't know. Does cocaine work that way? I don't know. I never
if you
tried.
ingest
Like,
that much,
you-
you're gonna die.
Like if you just
Ingest it?
yeah, like if you just eat it, does it still work?
No, you go into overdose. You die.
Cool. Good. Good.
Ah,
You hear that, kids?
don't do drugs.
Also, why are you watching us?
Right? But yeah, they are one of the first groups after the Norwegian couple to see the bear, and you're like, please don't let kids be disemboweled right in front of me. I don't want to see that, Elizabeth Banks. Why?
I swear, this bear was way more terrifying than that bear from The Revenant. Like, I really did not want to, like, I would rather take that brown bear. And you all know what the saying is, right? Like, if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, get down. If it's white, you're dead.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, this bear is a black bear. But then, for some reason, it has violent tendencies and it could kill you. I was
Right.
like,
When you see black bears,
I'd
they're
rather
just
not.
like please, I don't want humans kind of bears. Like, just leave me alone, man, and I'll leave you alone. And you're like, all
Yeah.
right, you're fine. I also don't get the same like, oh, if it's black, you have to fight back. Like, how are you gonna win a match against that thing? How?
no, I feel like if you're just like, you know, like you punch it in the face, it's like, oh fuck, it actually can fight back. He'll like, but this time it's high on cocaine and it has no fear. So, even though like, you know how regular bears would just be like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this thing can fight back, I didn't notice. Or like, I never encountered something that could fight back.
Oh, right.
But it
right.
doesn't know how strong it is, like, it could actually kill you, but it's too afraid to try.
Right.
Now, you just take that equation out, and you may have cocaine now.
The scene that kills me is when the kids that want to be crooks like try to rob or kill the Vid, and you're like, you're no match. Stop it. Why?
It's kicking your ass and left and right. I was like, oh shit. It was a very cathartic scene to see. Like,
Yeah.
they tried to, like, bully him, like, hey, give us your shit. He was like, I'm a drug dealer, you piece of shit. I played Ice Cube in Straight Outta Compton. You really
Right.
want to fuck with me right now.
Skateboard, like, that guy's gone.
By the way, if you've ever been hit by a skateboard, that shit hurts. Not because it's like what, it's because the sandpaper fucking grip. I was like, that shit sucks.
Right? Meanwhile, after that encounter, you see like, or sorry, before that, the nurse goes to the sheriff. Is like, I'm looking for my kids, and like they bring her along because they're like, well, we planned a romantic thing, but I guess you can tag along. And then like after he's recovering, David is like, oh shit, one of them probably knows where the drugs are, because he finds a pack of cocaine. He's like, hey, can you tell us where the rest of this is? And the poor guy's like, please don't hurt me, and he starts to like beat, like interrogate him.
I,
Like, okay.
I love the chemistry between I keep forgetting this Han Solo's name, Eddie and David. I
Yeah.
love the chemistry between these two guys. We're like, oh, you've seen what I can do in 15 seconds to all three of you. Now there's just one of you, and you're on the floor. And he was like, I ain't telling you shit. I was like, hey, Eddie, get my gun from the, like, you know, glove
Glove.
compartment. And he was
Yeah.
like, okay, okay. But I love how Eddie was like, oh. It's like walking slowly. The comedic timing in this movie was so great, especially with the dynamic duo with Eddie and David.
Yeah. And then after that, we get the scene of like the ranger and the nurse do find the boy up in the tree, and it's like, there's a bear on cocaine. I don't want to fuck with it. Get away! And like the bear does come back and like injures the warden. And then she's like, I'm gonna come back and finish you. I'm gonna get reinforced with like a claw marks on you. You're like, you can't run. How are you gonna get away? Okay.
No, I don't know how the bear did like chase her down.
Yeah, it's like, oh
I
shit,
don't know
more
why the bear
food.
didn't chase her down. Yeah.
And then starts climbing after the boy, and you're like, please, I don't want to see kids being disemboweled. I really don't. And then he smells the cocaine on the environmentalist, and like he's slowly climbing up for the boy, and then scurries down, starts skirting up the cocaine guy.
Like it's doing a sprint, but upwards. I was like, why is it so fast for that guy? Well, I guess he had the cocaine on.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it has the thing I like. And it starts
Yeah.
like doing like a Civil War ass amputation on the poor guy, and you're like, oh my god.
And I was like if that didn't kill him snapping his neck on the fall did.
The kid like,
And it does a line on his like dismembered leg. I was like, what's this?
and the kid's like, I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to see that. That's the kind of thing that's gonna mark you for life.
I love how self-aware this kid was. He was like, I'm like, oh, I really hope that situation is something that I would like to forget, but I don't think it will. I feel like I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life. I was like, you need therapy.
And then he's trying to hide the fact, like, Miss, how do you know if we're on drugs? And she's like, oh, we always know. It's like, but okay. And then
Oh shit.
they find Tormund, and like Tormund's like explaining the backstory, and then he's just like devouring whatever food he has left. And she's like, what the fuck, man?
But we go back to
The ranger.
Oh yeah, the ranger scene. He accidentally shoots one of the kids. Yeah. Not the children. Like these teenagers who were like mugging David.
I hate that though. Like the bear is in front of us, he's just like, bang, and the guy just gets headshot. Like, oh,
Because
fuck.
there was some miscommunication. They were like, oh, there's this like, he's after me. I was like, right, yeah, he did the same thing to us. And you're like, clearly they were talking about two different things.
Yeah, she's like,
And he was
hey,
like,
it bit a
"Oh,
bite
fuck, there's
of
a
my
bear."
ass. They're like, he bit your what?
Yeah. They're like, this dude's crazy.
That's why when he opened the door, she's like, oh, it's a bah. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck. And then, for some reason, one of them gets to call 911. But like before that, the detective who's chasing after Ray Liotta comes in, and you're like, I hope he doesn't die. But he goes along his own way. I'm like, oh, good for him. And then the paramedics come for the ranger, and they see the guy with the headshot. She's like, oh, that guy's dead.
They said they called him for a concussion. And you see the dude's brains blown out.
Well, he is concussed. He's concussed all over the floor.
By the way, I know that like he's not a big like movie star, but he is on TikTok a lot, and I love his videos. Who plays the paramedic? The actor's name is Scott Sace, and he's not like a big actor, but he is like on TikTok, and the dude's fucking funny. Like he does those TikToks of like being an employee at like Home Depot, and you're talking to like very stupid customers. He's that guy.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Or they're like, "Can you check the back? What, do you think it's a magical place out there?" You think I'm just gonna magically find what you need? If I say it's not there, it's not there. He's that guy.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
Yeah, and I love it that he got a part here. He like made a little cameo
good
as
for
a
him.
paramedic. He was funny the entire time.
Him holding back the door while the bear's about to bite off his face. Like, Jesus Christ, this movie's insane. And then they escape, but like the bear for some reason jumps into the ambulance, killing him, killing the ranger too, and then killing the driver just by like, oh shit, there's a bear in the ambulance. And then she ejects via violent 3, and then the ranger already dies from the road. You're like, what the fuck is this movie, man?
I don't know. It's just so funny. Because, again, like the paramedic, the guy who Scott says, like, plays, like, once a bear, like, got in. By the way, for some reason, that bear's faster than a T-Rex. Because the T-Rex couldn't catch up to a Jeep, but for some reason, this bear caught up speed to a fucking ambulance.
I mean, the Rexy wasn't high on cocaine.
I don't think Rexy needs cocaine.
Fine.
Yeah. But, like, it's just so funny, like, when he, like, hits the dash and his hand just, like, flops over and they're both screaming. I was dying laughing.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It is such a shame that his character does die, because I do like that that TikToker. He's funny.
The poor nurse, when she ejects, she slams into the tree too. So, like, if the crash doesn't kill you, the tree does. If the tree doesn't kill you, the landing does. You're fucked either way. At
You're
least,
fucked either way.
no, like, the poor ranger just falls face first onto the road, and you're like, well, shit.
No, I hated that, though. I really hated that when she fell off. It's just her face is just scraping on the floor, and I was
has
like,
no way of, like, covering up. Like, oh, God.
because you're strapped into the fucking like the what do you call that?
The stretcher.
Yeah.
And then we get back to, like, David and Eddie, and, like, they find the cocaine place, but, like, the detective came before them, so he has them at gunpoint and shoots for David's fingers off. You're like, oh, he ain't playing around. He for real.
I love how the teenager was like, how did he shoot off his fingers like that? They weren't even together. I was like, he has a point. Why?
And then the bear comes along and he's like, you know what? I'm done for the day. Just sleeps in poor Eddie. He's like, oh fuck. He's like,
I do love that though. Again, they did an amazing job. I think Eddie and David and the cop and the kid,
yeah,
the mugger kid, probably my favorite, like, group that this movie would follow, as this cocaine bear would go around terrorizing them.
Yeah, they do develop the truth because he throws around the cocaine, the detective, and you think they're okay, but, like, the beast's like, I need that bag. He's like, the fuck, we had a truce. Why do you need this bag? There's a fucking bear high on cocaine. You want this bag of all things, but, like, before they can come to blows, he gets shot in the gut by a Sid. And like, yeah. And he's like, Raylo just like, I know, I need that cocaine because there are people after me. Like, I would rather face this bear than fucking Pablo Escobar's man, and that's that's big trouble because they're gonna come after me and the family, including your son, which is he's talking about Eddie's son. And you're like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. But, like, the nurse and the kid do make it to the cave, and, like, they find her. She does find her daughter, but, like, poor Tormund, you don't even see his death. You just see the aftermath. You're like, oh man.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like if he just went with him, he would have been fine. But at least he's with his love.
Yeah, though I was
small death, but
oh god. And then they try while they're in the cave, I started getting, like, a panic attack because you see the cubs and you're like, oh, that's why they pointed out that he's a she because she's a mom, but cubs, shit.
Yeah, and those cubs are also high on cocaine. I really thought there was gonna be a scene of them trying to kill baby, bears who were high on cocaine trying to kill them.
right? But
Thank
no,
God they did it.
they snuck out the back, and like the rest of the crew, Ray Liotta and Eddie and David and the police, the turncoat police officer makes the cave. But at that point,
Yeah.
they're like, this is fucking madness. It's a bear, apex predator, high on this shit, and you want to steal the last of its food, of its supply. I'm out. Like the turncoat walks away, and David and Eddie are already like, you know what, this is stupid.
Yeah,
Tony-
and they do a face turn, and I was like, you know what, good on them. I'm
Yeah.
happy.
Well, like they find the nurse and the kids, and he's like, I'm gonna get that bag of cocaine. You ain't leaving. They're like, you know what, fuck this. And like the cub starts crawling up, Sid, and he starts smacking them with a gun. I was like, is that the best option you have, sir?
When there's a murderous fucking coked out bear out there, you want to hit its kids.
Right? You also find out that the nurse knows how to handle guns, and you're like, you know what, I won't question it. Why not?
It's America.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. And they all leave while Sid tries to get the cocaine, but he does manage to shoot for the bit, and you're like, oh, please don't die. I like you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they all, like, all of them jump while Ray Liotta's like, alright, I gotta get this coke.
Yeah.
And when he does, he's left hanging, because it was, like, stuck on a tree.
Yeah.
And then the cocaine bear just came in and just started, like, tearing him up. I
Just
was like,
emboweling him. It's like, even if you
Yeah.
survive the fall, how are you gonna close up the hole in the gut, sir?
Yep. And I'm wondering, will this bear just go straight into, like, what do you call it, like,
Cardiac arrest.
like withdrawals? Like, what would a bear going through a withdrawal look like?
I know, but everything, strangely enough, this movie ends kind of hunky-dory, where Eddie gets a new love, which is the Pomeranian from the detective, and the kids and the nurse are like, alright, everything's alright. And then the boy's like, what's under the stretcher? She's like, no, don't look under there.
Just don't look at that. Wait, what did... I couldn't catch it. What did David say to Eddie about the tattoo?
Oh, it is Joni. I forgot what he says also. Like something, oh, it is Joni, and I know she was loved for life.
Right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. And then the movie.
I forgot her. Like, I think my dad had something to do with Joni's death. He was like, she died of cancer. You could have given her cancer. How can you give her cancer? Stress.
And then you see like, oh, these people live happily ever after, and you're like, oh, okay. And if you do research, you're like, oh, cool, the bear did die of an overdose in real life, because animals are not supposed to consume that amount of anything, or cocaine at the very least,
I feel like it should have died on the first box.
right?
Yeah, remember that thing it swallowed whole? I was like, I think that should have been it.
Right? But like if you research the real life story, it's not as funny because you're like, oh, real people got hurt, and that's not
Hurt or killed?
hurt and killed. So,
No, I'm wondering, did they have permission to tell the story?
I haven't heard anything, so maybe, or maybe it's made the people up in place of like.
For
the
sure,
real
they made
people.
the people up.
Yeah. And like, of course, at the end too, you get like a nice memoriam to Ray Liotta, and you're like, all right, cool. But
By
yeah.
the way, I was so fucking scared for Eddie and David. Because, you know that scene where he's like, he has a dog, he's by the door, the camera's like facing him, beside the door. I was like, don't you dare pull up, like, cocaine bear out of nowhere and kills Eddie. I was like, don't you do that. Please don't do that.
I thought you were gonna say, don't you do an American Made. Do you remember that Tom Cruise movie about him smuggling cocaine from America to Colombia? And then
Then getting shot.
yeah, I
yeah.
thought like, all right, we're good. No. Like he was
the best of them.
Ray Liotta's
He
right.
wanted to be better.
He was right. You would rather face a bear than Pablo Escobar, at that time at least.
Yeah.
But what would you rate Cocaine Bear? Like, I have a rating, but I don't. I want you to go first.
Okay. To be fair, it is not a perfect movie. It's not deep. It is like, a lot of the time slapstick comedy, especially with like Especially with the comedian Scott Says being there, it's very funny. Everybody did an amazing job. I don't want to butcher his name because he did such a great performance. What was his name? Alden
Aaron, right?
Aaron Rick.
Yeah.
Dude, I swear to God, this guy can do comedy like so well, especially with Ice Cube's son. Give me a second. O'Shea Jackson Jr. There. Yeah. They both did an amazing job. I think they were the highlights of this entire movie. Even though it was kind of focused on a mother trying to get her daughter back, these two drug dealers were pretty much the highlights, and I loved it. It is a good time. It's a great time to watch with friends. Or watch it with like a couple of drinks. Don't do cocaine while you're doing this one. Please, just don't do cocaine. This did freak me out with bears though. Like I really do not want to encounter a bear, no matter what. Like I don't trust a panda. I really don't. You don't know what it ate. Like what happens if we encounter weed and I don't know.
Start doing kung
is
fu.
It dangerous or is it lazy? You know.
Just starts doing like the whooshy finger holds on people. Like, oh, that guy just straight up vanished.
It becomes a menace to society. Just like, no, but yeah, it is a fun movie. It's not deep. The story's man, but it's a fun time. So I'm gonna give it a fair score of like 7.5 out of 10. Everybody did an amazing job. Nobody lacked anything.
Yeah.
I don't think there was like, oh, he could have done better kind of deal. I was like, no, everybody did their part and they did their part well, especially the CGI bear. Yeah, it was a fun time, and I think you'll all enjoy it.
Yeah. I'll also give this a 7 out of 10. It's a pretty fun movie. Like as you said, not that deep. The story's like alright. But like you just sit down and like kind of turn off your brain. You're like, oh cool, this bear is fucking high, and it's killing made up people, so that you can sleep easily at night, knowing that like, oh, these people never existed, so it's fine. But yeah, not much to it. It's the CGI on the bear. Like that's impressive. That's more impressive than the one that tried to murder DiCaprio in The Revenant.
Really? I feel like they both kind of right.
I haven't seen The Revenant in some time, so I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, I remember they had like a whole commercial on like, oh, how great the CGI on the bear was.
But as I said, like this did beat Ant-Man 3 in the box office, and I do say it deserves it because it's a better time.
By the way, the jokes here are way funnier.
Yes.
So, I say watch this instead of Batman. Unless you're a child, then don't watch this.
As the kid says, it's gonna stay with you forever.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. So I've heard like spin-offs from this movie. Like there's like heroin Chihuahua, or like LSD something, and like whatever spin-offs they're thinking of. Like, sure.
It's only me scared of more animals.
Right.
It already did its job with the bear. I'm already afraid of spiders. Please don't.
Oh man. But yeah, that's been our video on Cocaine Bear. What do you guys think? What's your favorite movie with animals, I guess?
Under the Influence? I don't know.
Not even, like just
Cujo! Ow.
Crawl. Crawl's a pretty solid movie.
That is a solid movie. Cujo's also a really good movie where the animals. Rrr.
Yeah. But yeah, if you want to see more of us, we're obviously on YouTube, so please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. Spotify to hear us on the go. And the video you can find me at Golfus995 on Twitter. How about you?
Oh, you can find me at JohnGio. I'm just on Instagram. It is me right now.
And until the next recent movie, we'll see you until then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.